Hello, baby gangsters, this is Calvin, also known as Homer, and this is my first ever playthrough of Apollo Justice Ace Attorney, and it's April 19th, 11:21 a.m., District Court Defendant Lobby number 2.
Very impressive, Mr. Wright. I have to say, I expected nothing less.
So, it was a very small trial, but it is a flashback, right? It was a very small section of the trial, I should say.
We've only just begun.
Oh, sorry, we've only just begun. I was hoping you could tell me a bit more about what happened, actually.
I do not think you would believe me if I told you. Better to discover the truth yourself. I was thinking of you, you know.
Here's the thing, so many times people are like, it's better if you discover it yourself, which is what Phoenix told us as well. Just tell me, man. Let me help you. You have a gun holster. I think we need less thinking and more talking. That night in the hospital, what really happened?
The way your eyes gleam, Mr. Wright. You're scared, Trucy.
Speaking of which, where is she?
You have seen the problem yourself, the letter. The one...
Oh, the one shot in the forehead one, right?
Yes, and the reason he speaks of. I could not deny my mentor's wishes, even if it meant my own death.
Why not?
This is something I will not say, for now at least.
What's this for now business?
I've done many things in my life, some well, some poorly. But this is a cross we must bear alone to our graves.
We?
You wanted to know about the night of the incident?
Finally, this guy sure likes to take his time getting to the important stuff.
Of course, I had no intention of shooting my mentor. I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time.
Okay, here we go.
And found there upon his bedside table
2 pistols. 2?
Yes, the one I had used on stage, and the one that had been used by my partner, Valant.
Oh, for the Zack and Valance quick draw thing. Using real guns for this? Insane. Insane.
My mentor had the look of one sleeping. I stood by his bedside, hearing only the light sound of his breathing. Then I took the pistol into my hand. I cannot deny that my resolve faltered then for a moment.
You faltered? You mean you thought about shooting him?
Recall there was a reason I could not refuse his request. His last such request, though not his first.
So, there were other requests you couldn't refuse before? The music here is fantastic.
To be honest, I've not always been steadfast, and I fear I've brought pain upon Trucy.
Was Magnifique coercing his disciple somehow? Just what was going on in Troop Gramarye?
Yet, in the end, I did not shoot him. Instead, I turned and shot the clown. I took the pistol I had fired and placed it in my pocket.
In your pocket?
I believe if you examine the bullet in the clown's head, you will find to be different than the one in my mentor. What were those called?
Rifling marks.
Yes, well, that is all I have to tell you concerning the case.
Concerning the case? You mean there's something else you can tell me?
You are a fascinating man, Mr. Wright.
Thanks.
Yes, there is something. My mentor, his eyes opened.
What? Magnifique Gramarye?
The old devil. He was not asleep, you see. Of course, the gunshot would have woken him anyway. And there we had a last discussion as mentor and pupil.
Nice hat.
It was not a long discussion. Maybe 5-10 minutes or so.
What did you talk about?
Mr. Wright, did I not just tell you? It does not concern this case.
Everything concerns me and this case. Everything that happened there. It always does. So please, it's always going to end up meaning something in the end, and it's the reason behind something happening. So please, let me know. Zack Gramarye, he seems pretty steadfast to me, or maybe just stubborn. Stubborn seems like the word of it. Mr. Wright, your presence is requested in the courtroom.
Once again, I am in your hands.
Right, let's get back in there. April 19th, 11:37 a.m., District Court, courtroom number 7.
Court is now back in session.
During our recess, a bullet was found in the dugout from the clown's head.
Well, this is news. And the rifling marks?
There wasn't time to do a detailed analysis. Okay, let's suspend the court and do a detailed analysis. I'm not having you, Mr. McGessy-Gessison, freaking doing this whole trial. doing a bunch of guesses then telling me I'm guessing. We're not doing this. Though they did find the weapon type matches the murder weapon. There we go.
Well, that's not very conclusive, is it?
Which is why I'm about to call my very decisive witness. Your decisive witness is so weird being Phoenix again. Though very often turned out to be far less decisive than you think. There's been so many times though, like in Phoenix Wright's trials for the trilogy, that they do call a witness. And it's the most terrifying thing in the world because they actually do nearly put us underground. Oh, don't worry on my account. I'm quite confident this witness will do the job. After all, he's intimately acquainted with the players in our little production. Being the other half of the Troop Grammary's famous duo Zach. Oh, it's Valent. Valent Grammary? So we get to meet the great Magnifie's other disciple. Such a different vibe. Such a different vibe from this guy now. Perhaps I'll stop asking your name and occupation.
Valent Grammary, magician.
You're the decisive witness, are you? You can prove your fellow student your partner's guilt?
Fate, the grand illusion, filled with traps and tricks.
Wait, the shooting took place in the hospital after 11 o'clock at night. If you're a witness, does that mean you were there that late?
If one were to deduce this logically, the conclusion is yes.
Like, he's so much more handsome looking like this. Like, and usually I like a mustache. Okay, I always get the characters, don't I? Yeah.
I have an interesting fact for you. You see, several days before the crime, my witness received this.
That looks very familiar.
Wait. That's the same letter Zach Grammary received.
Yes, so perhaps I should say ta-da!
Oh my god, look at the outfit. The essence of serving.
Order, order, order! And what is that to say? Surely not the same thing.
Perhaps you should see for yourself.
It's the exact same thing. But it says Valent instead. But it's 11:20 p.m. So it's 15 minutes later.
The court accepts this evidence.
So yeah, it's 15 minutes later he's supposed to arrive.
This is most unusual. Exactly what was going on with you folks? What exactly was your Troop Grammary up to? By which you mean... I'm just having trouble envisioning a man who would ask his students to kill him. Both of them, no less.
It's just my opinion there, Judge. But from these letters, I'd say he was coercing them, not asking them.
He walked the magician's path together. We walked the magician's path together, and in doing so shared much of our lives. When people are so close, there is a strain, a warping of relations, you might say. Yet this has nothing to do with the case at hand.
By which you mean you're not going to tell us? Which makes me wonder even more about this reason they couldn't refuse.
Well, let's go on with the testimony for starters. The defendant, Zach Grammary, stands accused. Tell us why. I'll do more than that.
Where he walks, the red roses rise, singing hymns to the miracle that is magic. Fascinating, though I hardly need to remind you that the evidence could just as clearly point you to as the suspect. The letter, the murder, the weapon, and now the 2 bullets found at the scene.
In fact, the only difference seems to be the designated time. As every magician knows, timing is everything.
Yes. And now it's time to get this party fired up.
Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. So, okay. What we learned in the past few minutes is that there was a different time. There was 2 guns now. There was and also that the guy woke up. So those are 3 things we have to remember as we're going through these testimonies, because that's what they gave us the information of. Like, they want us to know that going into these this testimony. So this is on the night of the crime. That night I visited the hospital room at the time Magnifie requested. The smell of gunpowder hung in the room, and my mentor had taken his final bow. I did not imagine my fellow student might have received the same instructions. Yet a deal with the dead is still a deal. Death's sweet kiss I gave to the clown. Okay, so let's read through this carefully. The night I visited the hospital room at the time Magnifie requested. Okay, so he wasn't there when the other guy was there, so we'll press that. The smell of the gunpowder hung in the room, and my mentor had taken his final bow. So he admits that. Okay, so maybe we don't have to press that. I did not imagine my fellow student might have received the same instructions. He said he gave it to the clown. Again, but that's what Zach is saying too. Then I informed the doctor and the police. The fourth statement is the craziest, but the first one kind of, I guess. So you're the one who reported the crime? Indeed, I would think. The fact alone would clear my name of suspicion. Nah, people do that all the time. Let's not jump to any conclusions. Yes, the cross-examination generally comes before the conclusions in this court. But if your testimony proves to be true, sometimes you literally went to a conclusion, but tried to go to a conclusion before we even talked to the defendant, so... I don't know. Defendant Zach Gramery is guilty. Come on, dude. And if it wasn't Zach Gramery, then the killer was you, Valid. So there's only one or two. And no disappearing act will get you out of that. Let's go. Okay, so what were the statements? We were looking at the statements here. Let's pick out. So, like, the first one is that night I visited the hospital room at the time of the magnitude requested. Maybe it's good to press it to have it there, to have, like, the information, like, you were there later. Which, according to the letter, was 11:20 p.m.? Indeed. In magic, timing is everything, I imagine, yeah. Right. Consider the illusion of teleportation. If I were to appear on stage before my stunt double has left, how would that look? Why, it would reveal the very secrets of my magic. Now that you've revealed the very secrets of your magic for all of us, let's move on. You went to a designated time, and what did you see? The smell of gunpowder hung in the room, and my mentor had taken his final bow. I did not imagine my fellow student might have received the same instructions. Yet a deal with the dead is still a deal. Death's sweet kiss I gave to the clown. Okay, so let's see here. Let's press this as well. Yeah, let's press it. Let's press it. So, you were worried for your own safety at all? I mean, you smelled gunpowder, yes? What if the shooter was still nearby? Oh, that's a face. I did not consider this, to be honest. It is forbidden for a magician to have a good imagination. For real? Really? Isn't magic all about illusions and imagination? How about this? You were the shooter, which is why you weren't afraid. Now you're the one imagining. It is forbidden for a lawyer to have good imagination. I don't know, have you met every single prosecutor I've ever got up against, apart from maybe Edgeworth? The witness will refrain from pausing so suspiciously before responding. My forbidden imagination is starting to imagine things. I do not imagine my fellow student might have received the same instructions. Yet a deal with the dead is still a deal with the... Okay, let's press this one now, because again, we know that Zach has claimed that he also shot the clown. Why would you... That's what's confusing me. Why would you come into the room, see that the clown is shot, or see that your Magnafee is shot, and then go and shoot the clown instead then? I understand, it's like, well, I have to do... Like, if he's dead, like, you don't have to really uphold everything. You'd call the police first. There were 2 bullet holes in the scene, and one in the victim, one in the clown. You're saying the one that shot the clown was you? No doubt, my partner Zach had said much the same thing. Yeah, because whoever didn't shoot the clown committed murder. I better dig around here a bit more and see what I turn up. Mr. Valent, let me ask about something else concerning the crime scene, namely... the number of pistols. Yes. Because you would he know? How many pistols were in there when you entered the room? By which you mean what, precisely? The 2 pistols were used in Zach and Valent's quick draw. Shoot him, correct? One for each of you. You are well informed, yet only one of my old friends sat in the hospital room that night, so only 1 gun. Why did Zach tell me back in the lobby there was 2 guns? Of course, I had no intention of shooting my mentor. I snuck into the room that night, at the appointed time, and found there upon his bedside table 2 pistols. I took the pistol I'd fired and placed it in my pocket. I see no problem with that statement. Only 1 pistol was visible in the photograph on the crime scene after all. So you picked up that pistol and fired it? Indeed I did. Alakazam. Alakazing. Alakaboom. Is the number of pistols really so important? Yes, it's really important. The number of pistols is quite important, Your Honor. Very well, please add this detail to your testimony. So we're gonna have to, like, do something with this again. What can I do but obey? So I guess we'll, Oh, dude, you're donezo. You're donezo. You phrased like this, so do you have to, like... I guess we can present this. Yeah, you're donezo. This is a different one, buddy. According to the defendant, Zach Gramery, when he entered the room, there were 2 pistols on the table. 2? One of those pistols he used to shoot the clown in the forehead. Then he left with it in his pocket.
Of course, this is what he would say. Unlike the hapless clown, we must assume our defendant has some brains in his head.
You will literally grow up in a few years' time. You will literally grow up, Valent, in 7 years' time to be... sorry, not Valent, sorry. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with me? I know it's early in the morning, But Clavier, you're gonna grow up to actually like do this type of stuff where you like make up evidence and things like that, and like go on assumptions and things like that, and then tell me I'm going on assumptions. You'll grow up to do that.
You see, there's something about his testimony that doesn't make sense. What might that be? I told you I took the pistol that was there and shot the clown.
That's your story at least. But the rifling marks tell a very different story. Mr. Valent. Phoenix has to be wearing like shoulder pads or like padding or something because he's way smaller now than he was when he was there. Like now he's like, yeah, has the hat and the hoodie, he looks way smaller. Recall what Prosecutor Gavin told us.
We compared the bullet taken from the victim's skull with the bullet from this gun. The rifle marks on the bullets were a perfect match.
So, you picked up the one gun there and shot the dude. So Valent did it? Mr. Valent, if you fired this pistol, then you shot the victim in the forehead. What an outfit.
Order, order, order. Well, this is all rather sudden.
What have I done?
Prosecutor Gavin? No, we're not letting you amend your opinion now. No. You started off with a bad opinion.
I owe the court an apology. Sorry.
Sorry for what?
You see, I was not aware that 2 of these unique pistols were crafted. The analysis of the rifling marks only proved the type of gun that was fired them.
But that's not what you told us before. Yeah, you can't just change your opinion. You can't just change your take. You said you verified the murder weapon.
Which is why I'm apologizing to you now, quite sincerely, I might add.
Okay, so we'll just get a different lawyer in here then. We'll just get a different lawyer in here. I mean, if you're already making mistakes, it's probably not good. I'm just saying, because I don't know, like, by the way, I totally get that there's people who love Clavier. I think he's a cool character too. But to call him a prodigy and have him, like, make this much big of a mistake, that's not prodigy. That's learning. That's him learning.
Would you hold me accountable for a mistake made in my youth?
Here's the thing, you may be 17, but if you're in a courtroom, you're getting held accountable. This is someone's life on the line. That was just this morning. Oh god, he's talking about his youth as if it was like, I'm still young, go home, do your homework. Someone get Clavier a juicy box.
And I might add, it wasn't really my fault. The defendant only admitted he took one pistol from the scene of the crime. We would not be having this pleasant discussion now.
Yes, but the thing is though, also, I feel like at the same time, that's very, very true. But I do think that you made a statement that it was the murder weapon, so you just stand by it. I do agree that that does change things completely. So I will give a little, I love Biakia. I will do a little bit of that, right? But I do think that it's like he's changing it just like all of a sudden, you know what I mean? But I'll give him that.
Valent Gregory. Yes, Your Honor. You were present to this court as a decisive witness, but you've proven to be more divisive than decisive.
That's every single witness, buddy, you ever have. We're not judging Valent on this. That's this courtroom.
You see, in time, the testimony so far has merely been a review of the facts. The proof comes next.
Care to elaborate, Prosecutor Gavin?
When Mr. Valent entered the hospital room, the victim had already been shot. As his next testimony will prove, right, the real fight is about to begin.
Right. Oh, Phoenix Wright. I was like, wait, I'm not Apollo Justice. He didn't even say Apollo. I'm just so used to saying Air Forehead that I mixed it up. Bring it.
Very well. The witness will now testify to the court. Help us determine who shot what.
Okay, so he's changed his kind of opinion on this again. I arrived in the hospital room at the appointed time, which is say 11:20 p.m. Okay. After discovering the body, I fulfilled my obligation, then called in the doctor. Okay. After the doctor examined the body before the police arrived, I'll press that second statement, by the way. Before the police arrived, he was quite clear about the time of death, 11:10 p.m. So he died at 11:10. Is that anything we can use in this? Anything at all? Now, we can say that, like, there's no evidence that we can press on this. The music's awesome. But what we could say is that he arrived... If he died at 11:10... Okay, maybe we can press this just, I guess, to have, like, the time of death there. Because I'm saying that he arrived 10 minutes after his death. Right? Okay. So it's very clear then, though, that that might be more of a detriment to us than... Okay, no, but we need to find out the truth. Like, even if it hurts us, we need to get into the dregs of the situation. And one in the room at the time... And the one in the room at the time was my partner, not me. Wait, he was in the room at the time? Oh, they were telling you he's in the room. Okay. We can press that as well.
Those times are rather close, you have to admit. You're talking about an alibi established over a matter of minutes. To use 10-minute discrepancy as the basis of your alibi.
It's easy to explain in this situation, I judge. For example, take our debut hit single, 13 Years Hard Time for Love.
How about no? No. No. Stop. Stop it. Stop it right now.
Cue the song, press the play button, and we'll play for 2 minutes, 15 seconds. Do it 100 times, the result is the same.
Their debut single was only 2 minutes and 15 seconds long? What a ripoff. I mean, Blur's most famous song, it's not their best song, but their most famous song is like 2 minutes. You know? Like, to be honest, like, it's like... It makes perfect sense though that Phoenix is the type of person that sees music as like a transaction, like, because it is a transaction sometimes when you have to pay for music or whatever, pay for a streaming service, but like he sees music as like, how do I say it, like it's like, oh, 2 minutes 56 long, this is even worth it. So like, does he like listen to something like Shogun, like off of the album Shogun, and he goes, man, this 10 minutes long was worth it.
Magic is a word of utmost precision. Hocus pocus requires admirable focus. And at the time of death, determined by the doctor, there an incontrovertible truth.
Very well. The prosecution warns us that we're dealing with rather precise times, and we expect the cross-examination to require the same level of precision.
Okay, so he's basically telling us to press that statement. He's saying, get these precise times out. Fair enough.
I hope the defense refrains from its customary broad, sweeping accusations.
Clavier, you like, here's the thing about it. He's actually like I said yesterday, he's actually a good like prosecutor, but the thing is, like, in 10 years time he will literally be doing the most broadest sweeping accusations you ever seen in your goddamn life.
Lest we blur the focus of this case so clearly demands.
Point taken. Racist remarks will result in a penalty. Carry on, Mr. Wright.
Wait, are you saying I'm gonna get, if I don't... Jesus Christ, man. There is obviously, and it's intentional. It's an intentional bias towards the prosecutors, so it can make the game harder. Like, and that's a good design choice, because it makes you, when you do get a victory. Look at the victory we got during Turnabout Serenade. I melted into my chair because of how incredible it felt. Who shot what? So I arrived in the hospital room at the appointed time, which is to say 11:20 p.m. Okay, that's okay. We're doing timing then. We'll press this. 11:20 p.m. Can you prove that's when you arrived?
Alas, such a feat may be beyond even the great valor.
Well, we get the hospital footage. Like, this is like, there was security camera footage, right?
For there was no one in that room but Magnifi, and he was departed after a fashion.
I've heard the defendant Zach Gramerty's sworn deposition. I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time. It was 10 minutes before I left the room, and the victim was still alive.
Wait, the time indicated by his letter was to Zach was 11:05 p.m.?
Exactly. Which meant the witness could not have entered that room before 11:15.
So, he was there for 10 minutes?
Because his partner was still in the middle of his crime.
I see someone did their arithmetic homework.
You know what's crazy though as well though? Then like, he can't be, I don't think you can call, like, it's a witness because they witnessed, like, they were able to report the crime. I don't think you can call him a witness to the actual crime itself.
You see, the defendant himself has corroborated the witness's testimony.
Huh? Does that all make sense? I think so. I think the timing is right. I don't see any problem with that testimony.
If you say so, let's continue, shall we?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Sometimes the most magical thing of all is the truth.
Nice way of putting it. So I've just come to a film obligation and called the doctor. Yeah, let's press this as well.
I like that we're getting, like, the penalty makes it feel a lot more important. You walk in on a murder and the first thing you do is shoot the clown?
The disciple does what the disciple must. My mentor's request without reason had a cause for me, a surfeit of sorrow. For what I would, Valiant, be now without him. Why would I, Valiant, be without him? May the soul of Magnify the great find greater peace above. This I muttered to myself as I pulled that lonely trigger.
In any case, I believe this is nothing more than what we have already learned. I'm still waiting for one of those right moments. Attorney.
So this is actually a cool line because, like, Phoenix Wright is famous. He's famous as heck. Everyone knows him. He has done, at this point, up to this point, I believe he has done at least, I would say he's done, correct me if I'm wrong, but up to this point he's done 16 trials, right? No. Yes, 16 trials. And I would say that out of all those 16 trials, 13 of them were like super famous. Say like 12 of them were like super famous. That's generous. 10 were super famous, and I say 6 of them were like unbelievable, like, oh, that's still pretty interesting, you know what I mean? So like, of course he's gonna be famous at this stage. Yeah.
May I remind you that police are marked to learn penalties. Proceed with that in mind.
Yes, Your Honor. What a pain in this is turning out to be. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. The doctor examined the body before the police arrived. He was quite clear about the time of death, 11:10 p.m. Okay, we'll press this as well because we're doing timing issues. I don't think I'm stepping out of limb to say I have some doubts about this. How could the doctor be so precise with the time?
We do usually get an estimated time of death, true. I'm not sure I've heard of a verified time of death. Magic revels in making the complex appear simple, but the realities are the opposite. What appears complex in this case is simply a matter of subtraction. I see another person has done their arithmetic homework.
Point here is the IV the victim was taking. Okay, it's quite visible in the photograph of the scene, so there's something to do with the IV. Recall what we heard earlier about the victim Magnifying Gramarye's schedule. Every night at 11 p.m. Magnify took an IV drip for 30 minutes.
I can see the IV bag right there. Yes, we heard about this.
Now, look a little closer. Follow the tube down from the bag to the end.
It was gone. It wasn't in his... The needle's been removed.
Doubtlessly it fell out when he was shot.
It would seem to be the case.
When the needle comes out, the IV no longer drips.
You could just measure the remaining IV liquid.
Precisely. The IV liquid functions, for our purposes, are an hourglass of sorts.
This is how the doctor determined the time of death. Oh, so they said from the... But... Okay, I've been in a hospital before where you have a drip, right? I've been in the hospital before where you get, you have a drip, attached to you. And the nurses are super, not casual, but for me, when I had like a fluid drip, because like obviously when you're in the hospital for a few days awaiting surgery, they kind of want you, and especially if you're sick, they kind of want you to have a fluid drip so you're not like being dehydrated, especially since you're not going to be like eating a lot of the time because you have to have surgery the next day and things like this, and your surgery can come at any moment. For me, like I always felt like the nurses were super casual about it because they're like, okay, like I'd be like, oh, I think that's I was like, sorry to bother you, but I think that's almost empty. And they'd be like, oh yeah, it is. We'll fix that up for you in a second now. There wasn't like a precise timing to it, I guess. I don't know. And that's just judging from my experience. Now, again, I probably didn't have the same problem with this guy. He probably maybe has something completely different. But I just don't think that can be an accurate thing for timing.
From the amount in the bag, it was determined that the IV had stopped 10 minutes after administration began.
That's probably a good way of putting it, but like, I feel like there's so many variable factors when it comes to liquids. Right? By the way, a half an hour IV drip is insane. You were getting pumped. Every half an hour, you're getting pumped.
And so it was when I, Valent, entered that room. 10 minutes had passed since the horrible crime was committed. And this is proof. Well, Mr. Wright?
Did that seem important? I think we're gonna add this to testimony because again, we're talking about timing. We talked about timing before. And I think that like we also want to add the IV to the evidence because it wasn't like, it's not an evidence, is it? It's not an evidence. No, it's not. Yeah, I think we'd want to add that to the testimony. I'm gonna say very important. Well, seeing as how it's the biggest clue we have to this time of death, I agree. I say it's very important.
Agreed. It would be hard to imagine a more precise way to determine the time. Behold the power of arithmetic. Very well. The witness will add this detail to his testimony.
So do we press on the statement again? Or do we present something? What can we present? Sometimes the most magical thing of all is the truth. The water of life springs not eternal. The remaining IV drip proves my innocence. Like, I don't know if there's anything we can, like, we can present the IV drip on it, but there's, like, it wasn't even added to the testimony? I thought it'd be added to the court record. Okay, I guess we press this. I guess I thought we would have. I thought like that we usually add things after we talk about them. Did you notice any IV? Did you notice IV yourself by any chance?
When I first entered that room, the stench of gunpowder assailed me. Next, the marks of death upon my mentor's forehead. And then his left arm did I spy, arose, drooping and wilted. Its thorns discarded by the IV needle.
Knocked from the vein by the force of the shot, luckily for you. If that IV had not been there, why, you might be a suspect.
Indubitably so. I might say it's thanks to my lucky color.
Your lucky color? Yellow?
Indeed, even today I wear it proudly upon my suspect self. For always without fails, brings me luck. Why then, Zack and Valent won their first Magician's Grand Prix. Yes, the very one held by the Association of International Magicians. I was adorned in this attire then too, and our trophy, a bust. Ah, what a day it was.
Oh, this is one trip down memory lane no one needs.
My lucky color, yes indeed. And that IV too. I say I think 'twas you, and especially for me, Valent. That does seem to be the case indeed. Well, Mr. Wright, any thoughts on this testimony?
Valent sure looks happy with himself. Okay, how about this? Lucky color testimony? Is there a contradiction? I mean, I guess, like, I'll be honest, like, maybe I wasn't paying as much attention. Hold it, okay. Like, I was reading it, but I don't think maybe I was just because I thought that he was going off on something else, I wasn't paying as much attention. Let's see. Did you notice the IV yourself any chance? When I first entered the room, the stench of gunpowder assailed me. The next is the mark of death upon my mentor's forehead, and then his left arm did I spy a rose drooping wilted. It's a thorn, a discarded IV needle. Knocked from the vein by the force of the shot, lucky for you. If that IV had been there, you might be a suspect, doubly so. I might say it's thanks to my lucky color, your lucky color. Indeed, even today I wear it proudly upon my suspect self. For those without fails brings me luck. Is it to do with the color? Why, when Zack and Valent won their first Magician Grand Prix, yes. My lucky color, yes indeed, in that IV too. Wait, I think it was you, especially for me. That doesn't mean it's the case indeed. Toss him in Valent. But it's green. Is he? He's not wearing any. No, he's wearing like pure yellow. That's a weird contradiction. Yeah, okay, that will do it, but like, this is very strange. But not this time, Mr. Valent. Your lucky color betrayed you.
I'm afraid you've lost me.
Your Honor, the witness testimony just now clearly contradicts the evidence.
What? Please recall my warning at the beginning of this cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Only the prosecutor may make mistakes. Baseless accusations will be duly penalized. I do hope the latest accusation is well based.
Don't worry, I've got your bases right here.
Very well, let's hear the defense's claim. Where is your evidence that the contradiction Mr. Valent has told us?
Yeah. It's a weird piece of evidence to have. Like, I don't know, I feel that anyway. The crime scene tells you all, Your Honor.
The photo of the crime scene?
All this talk of color has me yearning for a black and white, clear-cut simplicity. I love a good black and white outfit. Tell us, Wright, just where is it the contradiction you see in this photo?
My pleasure. And I assure you, it's quite simple. But I can't promise anything in black and white.
Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say.
So we have to present it?
What in this photo contradicts the witness testimony?
It is, in fact, Your Honor, this right here.
Valent Grand Prix.
let's get one thing straight about your lucky color. It's yellow, yes?
Kind of takes the mystery out of it, but yes.
Something wrong with yellow, Mr. Wright? I love yellow. Yellow has become like a color that I would never wear. Like as a teenager, I was like, never wear yellow. To the point that now, like, I'm like looking like I feel like it has changed the way that like yellow clothes are no longer just like this bright neon kind of like yellow. They're kind of like mustard yellow, which is nice, or like even some kind of like you know, brighter like sun type of yellow that looks good on people. Like I think yellow has changed completely in the grand scheme of things. Yes, there is. Decisively wrong, in fact. Taking a look at the photo of the crime scene.
What's this? Confusion, doubt, tell us, what do your elderly eyes spy?
Even my elderly eyes can see a problem here, Mr. Valent. Look at the IV bag.
Ah, what is this? What foul magic?
It would be hard to call the IV liquid yellow, and I'm afraid no magic was involved in the taking of this photograph.
Alakad!
No! Oh my god! That's the best breakdown in the history of breakdowns. That's the best one.
Hold on, what does this mean?
Objection!
This is some kind of mistake.
Clavier, believe it or not, like, I think you're great at what you do, but this is something you should have checked beforehand as well, and checked right away too.
Yes, Prosecutor Gavin, your witness mistake.
I do like that Clavier is less sure of himself because he is so young and will become more sure of himself. I do like that aspect. I think it's actually really good. The greener they are, the harder they fall. I suppose there's no substitute for experience. Violet Gramarye, as you reminded us several times, your lucky color is yellow, but the IV is clearly not.
Well,
this contradiction can mean only one thing.
Objection!
And to think,
You almost had me.
oh no, he's gonna come up with something.
I see your true colors now, Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright. Something you'd like to tell us, Prosecutor Gavin? As far as this court can tell, the witness's testimony does contradict the evidence. Yes, a contradiction. One that I shall be pleased to hand right back to Mr. Wright.
How do you mean?
How? Because the witness has made no mistakes. Agree at a glance, the IV liquid does appear sort of greenish yellow, but I assure you the liquid itself is quite yellow. What? Yellow liquid? How can you say that? As far as I can tell from this photo, it's green. But what color is the IV bag itself?
The bag? It's plastic. It's like bluish.
It looks like I want to say a light blue. Precisely. Figured it out yet? It's supposed to be clear. Put a yellow liquid in a blue bag and
You get. No. No. Because then he would still see green. Is he saying because of the picture?
this, incidentally, is the liquid's true color. I see. Your explanation does have the ring of truth to it,
But like, is he talking about it in a picture or in a real sense? Because in a real sense, if it does change the color of the bag, you would have still seen green.
Objection!
As I thought, there's no substitute for experience, Prosecutor Gavin. Phoenix would never talk like this. He is confident.
What?
You may tell a good tale, but you've just proven something rather grave for you, that is.
Grave?
The liquid in the IV is yellow, yes. But how did this witness know that? It's quite unnatural when you think about it. You did think about it, didn't you? Your Honor, the defense requests an explanation from the witness. At the scene of the crime, the IV liquid appears to be green. So let me ask, how did the witness know the IV liquid is actually yellow?
Yeah, like I saw. I love this. I love this. Look at this. And the rabbits look pretty realistic. Remind me of ReZero almost. Order. Mr. Wright, you will explain this at once. The witness clearly knew the color of the IV liquid. So I'm sure it means something, but what?
I can think of only one possibility, Your Honor. The witness, Violet Gramarye, has testified that the IV was yellow because he'd seen it before. It looked yellow. He'd seen it before. I'm gonna say he'd seen it before, because like these two are just not like it's decisive. Like they're not decisive whatsoever.
From the facts before us, the answer is clear. The witness knew that the IV liquid was yellow. Why? Because he'd seen it before, but not inside the blue bag we see in the photo. He saw the liquid by itself in a clear, colorless bag.
I suppose he would have to, but I'm still not clear as to what this all means.
Ask yourself, why would he know if he didn't work at the hospital? That's where you'll find your meaning, Your Honor.
Objection!
I'm afraid I find nothing. So what if he knew the IV's liquid color? Leave the getting excited over absolutely nothing to our teeny bopper fans, yeah?
Objection!
The IV liquid is the only evidence proving the time of death. A 30-minute hourglass with 20 minutes worth of sand remaining. Your claim, Prosecutor Gavin.
I remember it well.
However, there's a critical difference between an hourglass and an IV bag.
Wait, I know. An hourglass uses sand, but an IV bag uses liquid. I'm right. Right?
Yeah, you're right. Well done. Congrats. Congrats. As much as it pains me to say this, Your Honor, no. No, he's right. Unlike sand through an hourglass, IV liquid enters the patient's body, at which point, like magic, it disappears. However, what if the amount of IV liquid had increased? You couldn't tell, could you? After all, there's no way of knowing how much went in. So he's saying, so how would he put more in?
Objection!
It's been washed and so shows no sign of use. Did he inject the bag with more liquid?
Let me get this straight out right. You're saying the witness watered down the victim's IV bag?
Not with water, but with IV liquid. That's how you knew the IV liquid was yellow.
Now wait, I said wait!
How might an amateur such as myself say to perform such a task?
Objection!
This is a great line. I'm an amateur too, but I can pour water into a cup.
Objection!
I'm afraid there's quite a big difference between a cup and an IV bag, quite. Can you prove our witness is capable of such a feat? He has a point, amateurs. I at least would have some difficulty pouring IV liquid into that bag.
You don't need to be an expert to see the look on the witness's face. Yeah, he's nervous. He added liquid to the IV to throw off the time of death.
I tire of these fairy tales lacking evidence. Well, Mr. Wright, any solid evidence to bring us back down to earth?
Valentine Marie, I'm afraid your magic won't serve you well in a life of crime.
Might ask what you're strongly suggesting.
Magic relies on props, and props become evidence. Our witness was certainly able to increase the amount of IV liquid in the bag. All he had to do was work a little magic, and the prop was...
Simple. Simple. Simple stuff.
The victim's syringe?
It's the perfect prop for the magically increasing IV trick, and easy enough for an amateur to use.
Objection!
What kind of evidence is that? The syringe was clean, not a trace of liquid in it.
Objection!
That's the whole point. That is the whole point. And don't you find it odd, Prosecutor Gavin?
What?
The victim had the syringe to administer his insulin shots. There should have been traces of insulin left inside. Well, Valentine Marie, as you pointed out yourself, the IV liquid makes the perfect clock. One that you could manipulate at will.
Ah, go on, rabbits, come out. Yeah, there they are. Look at the bunnies. And the little flags as well. Like all of his tricks coming. It actually, like, it's kind of nice symbolism. All his like tricks like falling apart. It's really cool, actually. So this is actually pretty interesting because with the if a Valent prosecution, like, is that what we're trying to get at? Which doesn't happen because Valent is fine after this. Then what we're thinking is, like, Trucy has a role model who is not a good role model whatsoever. And this dude is pretty evil then if he did this too. And then also still tries to, like, make Trucy into, like, his little, like, you know, like his, like, protege. Pretty evil.
I do believe, well, with this being his first, that the burden of this trial has been a bit too much to bear for Prosecutor Gavin.
Oh my god. That's like, and that's actually a really cool line as well because, again, he is young. And they did a good job of showing, like, some of his imperfections in this trial.
I'm afraid that while there is doubt as to the amount of IV liquid in that bag, the time of death cannot be proven. And that brings our trial to a close for today.
Well, maybe I can squeeze an extra day out of this.
I can do a little much needed investigation work. So this is a very much a Phoenix thing, which is like, okay, I know Apollo Justice thing. Let's call this off for a bit and come back and do another investigation. You know, because that like is like a great way of like, you know, like finding new information, but also like, you know, giving ourselves some time. I see there are no objections. Court is. Oh, okay, yeah, I was kind of expecting it.
Truly, there is no substitute for experience. Nothing blinds one to the truth so effectively.
So is Clavier saying that because we're so experienced, we just accept like this because like it's so comfortable?
A word to the wise. Underestimate the young, and they'll sweep your feet from under you. I agree. In a way you've never expected. I agree. You see, I know exactly what you're thinking.
What's he talking about? And Phoenix, while like, you know, you're way more like you're different than Clavier. Phoenix was in Clavier's position for a while. Like, Godot was way older than Phoenix. And he was like going up against someone who was like way more experienced than him. Edgeworth was way more experienced than Phoenix, even though they were best buds. The roommates. You say the witness used the syringe. Oh, they must be best friends. What's that Reacts thing when they see the two boys kissing? Wow, they must be best friends.
You said the witness used the syringe to manipulate the level of the IV liquid, but there's no proof.
There's no proof he didn't do it either.
Yes, quite true.
Huh? He's admitting it?
Nor was this witness quite as decisive as he hoped. This, I admit, after all, why linger in the past when the future holds so much?
You got something on my mind, Prosecutor Gavin?
Proof, Judge. I have another way to prove my case. With evidence, no less.
What's this?
This is the victim Magnifi Grammarly's diary.
The diary?
After going to the hospital, Magnifi began writing his memoirs, it seems. Wait a second. Is this the forged one? Because we talked about a forged diary, right?
The story of his birth, his startling debut at a meeting of his disciples. It seems he intended for the last chapter to end quite appropriately with his death.
Wait, that book doesn't say what the reason was, does it? The reason why his disciples couldn't refuse his last request?
Sadly, it does not. What's important here is on the last page. Apparently, the victim wrote his journal that night, even after IV had begun at 11 p.m.
Sure, let's read it. I'm super interested in this. Tonight, IV is in, maybe the last, I leave the rest of them. The first should come soon. The journal may end here or may go on, but long depends on his hand. All is left to my... So, what he's saying here is that is he saying that he expected that there was a possibility he could have lived tonight?
The court accepts this into the evidence. Okay.
Read the very last part with particular care.
I actually think we will. I actually think we very much will. Can we read it again? There's also a page missing. This is the last page. The diary ends here. Huh? What's this? What does the last one say? All is left to mine is to lay down the pen. Okay, that's what it said last. It looks like a page was ripped out. Well, now isn't that interesting? Is that going to be something that we're using? Oh, the truth grammar. Look at that. But remember, there was like a. This could be a problem. There was a forged diary of some sort, right?
This journal may end here or may go on, but not long. That depends on his hand. Of course, by his.
Valent, for sure. Valent killed him. I say Valent.
That would make sense, yes. He was the first scheduled visitor after all.
But look what he said before that. This journal may end here or it may go on. It may go on. Magnifi Grammarly intended to write again. And that is, if Zach Grammarly didn't pull the trigger. IC Defense understands the meaning of this. The victim's diary does not go on. It ends. But Magnifi's life was brought to an end by the defendant, Zach Grammarly.
Order, prosecutor.
Wait a second. We have, though, the last page, though, right? It seems face calc will make me wait a little longer. At least only less than 10 swift minutes remain. All the support. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is so decisive. It's the last page of the diary. And it says, like, hey, I guess I have to wait longer. Only 10 minutes remain. Oh, it's done. Bro, you're done. Are you certain that Magnifique Grammar wrote this? You're done.
There's no mistaking his handwriting.
You're done. You're done so.
Well, seems to be significant. According to this, Magnifique did intend to continue his diary. Yet if his diary ended here, which plainly it did,
Then the one who pulled the trigger was the first visitor.
Zach Grammary.
Well, how do you like me now, Wright? I like you a lot.
Your hair's much nicer this way.
Still too green for your taste, hmm?
He's right about the diary being pretty clear. Still, I find it hard to believe that he'd over such an obvious problem with the precious evidence.
Well, Mr. Wright, the witness testimony we heard was lacking. What put together with this evidence, it seems quite sufficient for the case.
If the diary is accepted like this, the trial's over. Maybe it's time for me to show them something. Yeah, the piece of paper. I'm left with no choice but to show my own evidence.
What? You have some evidence that overturns this diary?
It's not too late to rethink this and avoid more embarrassment.
Very well, please show us your evidence, Mr. Wright.
Incidentally, don't even think of showing us this diary I've just shown to the court. No, I wouldn't. Now that we've come this far, I hope you have something of a little more decisive. Show us evidence that proves the victim continued writing his diary.
Alright, I'd be happy to. The decisive evidence proving that the diary didn't end with this page is... Yep. But how does he... Like, I'm kind of confused on, like, how... Oh, okay. I kind of have an idea of where this could go. If that's the case, then, like, my whole idea of, like, why Phoenix was, like, taken away his badge away. If it is the case, what I'm thinking is, I'm thinking that, like, they're going to say that this is forged. Forging evidence. Right? If that's the case, then my opinion of Phoenix is way different. I honestly thought, like, was so sad that he would forge evidence like this. But I don't think that's the case. Note that the page is still clear. Page has been clearly ripped out.
What's this? I hadn't noticed that at all.
That's why we're still here talking about this. As just so happens, I have here what I believe to be the missing page.
Alec, I don't believe it.
Looking at this page, it's hard to imagine that the first visitor that night shot Magnifique Grammary. That's the defense's position.
Wait, let me see that. What in Sam Hill? Why, this is the continuation of the victim's diary.
Oh, you're still confident? You're still confident? He's not confident. So he, like, okay, so there's something here where Clavier's like, oh, I know this isn't true. But it's still weird that the witness would be, like, a little bit nervous if he thought it wasn't true. Note the torn edge of the page. It's a perfect match with the torn remains of the last page of Magnifique's diary.
Quite remarkable.
Would you care to explain what all this means, Heir Attorney?
The diary continued after his first visitors came, which means that the victim was still alive after Zach Grammary left, leaving no one to take his life but the second visitor. Valent Grammary.
No!
Oh, there they come again. Look at these rabbits, they're adorable. They actually look evil, though.
The handwriting, too. It matches the one on the other pages.
This, oh, you can kind of feel something bad is gonna happen, can't you? Like, it's too, like... This is too handed on a plate to us. Like, music is fantastic, but, like, it's too, like, on a silver platter. Right?
Order. But wait. That's impossible. The old man couldn't have written that.
Objection!
Oh no. Finally. You just couldn't resist, could you, Heir Wright?
Resist what? Presenting solid evidence?
Judge? No. My request you put the current
Cross-examination on hold? The prosecution would like to call a new witness. What?
This evidence overturns the current witnesses.
I ask only to put on hold. Please, my new witness has a very important piece of testimony to give. 5 minutes, no more. I promise, Your Honor.
Well, if you put it that way, Mr. Wright, what's your take on this?
Well, Your Honor, judging from his enthusiasm, we'll have to hear this in his testimony sooner or later anyway. So might as well be sooner.
No, I wouldn't do this, man. I would not do this. Then though this is highly irregular, we will put this current cross-examination on hold. The witness may step down.
We could literally end this case right now. Phoenix, don't do this. Now, Prosecutor Gavin, please bring this surprise witness to the courtroom. This is one of those times where the judge asked our opinion. We could have been like, hey, I had a bad feeling. I have 52 bad feelings. That ripped out page was too obvious. So, yes, it was on a silver platter. He must have known. It was on a silver platter we got this evidence. And I should have known it was a bad sign all around. That it was so obvious.
No, holding a trial with no audience is a first even for me, Prosecutor Gavin. I beg the court's understanding. But I had to make a judiciary deal with the witness to secure his testimony.
A judiciary deal?
The details of his testimony may have some legal ramifications, shall we say. Thought it best to contain the information to this room. Very well. And you are the witness, I gather.
Yes. Yes, sir.
State your name and the occupation for the record.
My name is Drew Misham. I'm a painter.
A painter? And you somehow relate to this case?
No, well, not per se.
I have one simple question for the witness. Mr. Misham, was it? Do you know what this is?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. I know it well.
How's that possible? Have you seen this diary page somewhere before?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I made it.
Dear God.
I'm so stressed I'm singing Biffy Clyro.
You what? You made it?
Yes, you might call it one of my works.
The prosecutor's office received a tip-off yesterday. Illegal evidence has been prepared for the trial of the Zach Carver. Oh my god, it's going to look so bad on Phoenix.
Here's the thing, regardless, I think that a lot of prosecutors have done worse than this in trials. In terms of like stuff that should have gotten their badge taken away. But I think that it's so, like, egregious, and it seems so bad. Illegal evidence? And it's like, even if you said, like, okay, and I'm going to judge myself the same way I judge every prosecutor. If they came to us then afterwards and said, hey, where'd you get this evidence? It's like, oh, a little girl gave it to me? And they're like, what? The daughter of the suspect gave it to me. That'd be like, okay. I initiated an investigation and found this witness.
A painter of the world at large, Drew Misham has another side, you might say. He's skilled in making a perfect reproductions of certain things. Forgeries, in other words.
Forgeries?
Well, so we are to understand that this page here is a fake, prepared by a certain defense attorney.
Objection!
Hold it. I didn't prepare this evidence.
Objection!
Oh, now we're getting a bit defensive.
The attorney speaks. Something about this page, I presume, but what is he saying? Makes no sense. After all, it was you who presented this evidence to us, Phoenix, right?
Witness, Misha, was it? Who requested this forgery? Was it your client?
He's not going to give it away. He's hiding all the time. Yeah, I don't know. He's not going to give it away. What?
Most of my clients prefer to remain anonymous, even to me. I make the items they want and receive my payment. That's the extent of my contact with them.
Objection!
But, there's no proof this is a fake.
It's a fake.
Huh?
To avoid just this sort of problem, I always put a special mark on my works. Can I say without a doubt, this is mine.
This is bad. It's bad.
You've just presented legal evidence to the court, my court. My court.
It was careless of me. It was really careless. But I think the vibe I got off Phoenix here, you know, he's not with Maya. He's not with any other person helping him. He is going in full guns blazing. I'm great. He even talked about the experience of the other the prosecutor, which he never does. I genuinely think that this was an overconfident, you know, maybe into himself kind of Phoenix. That's all I can say.
Oh, Juicy. Oh, boy. Here.
What's this?
I don't know. I just got it over there in the hall.
Oh, poor Trucy's involved in this too.
They told me to give it to the old boy in the blue suit with the spiky hair. They said it was really important.
Oh, look at this smile. How could you say she gave me forged evidence? It was all a trap, a fatal trap. Wait, so Zach set up a trap for us?
Mr. Wright,
Yes?
do you have an explanation for yourself?
This is making me so sad. This is horrifically sad. And can I say this just like straight up? One of the biggest issues with this whole trial, in my humble opinion, is that this isn't a thing. It's like, yes, prosecutors I feel like have done some horrible stuff. Godot was off his rocker, guys. People can say whatever they want about like Godot, but he like you can love him, you can like him. Some of the stuff he did in that case was horrific. In terms of like, you know, no, he never fabricated evidence, but he was like changing things, twisting things all over the place, you know. Same with like Von Karma, she did that too. Clavier, I don't think our Edgeworth haven't done that as much, but nothing I don't think is as bad as like forging evidence. Like and from a lawyer, a well-respected lawyer. If I did, would the court hear it?
Probably not. Forging evidence is a serious crime. It is, it's really serious. And presenting in court is a serious mistake. A fatal mistake for an attorney. Fatal too, perhaps, for your client, I fear. Tell me, what kind of defendant relies on forged evidence? The answer is quite clear, a guilty one. A guilty one, yeah.
Objection!
I mean, I don't think he's guilty. I don't think that we were that we're wrong, but I will say that like everything makes sense the way this is turning out. Your Honor, wait. I understand that presenting forged evidence in court is a serious crime, but you cannot hold my client responsible for actions I undertook as an individual.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright.
Your Honor.
Another close call, I dare say. If the prosecutor's office hadn't received that hot tip, everything would have gone with...
Wait, what?
Even I gave you a chance. Too bad you decided not to think before embarrassing yourself.
I see no need for further discussion on this matter. Special witness dismissed.
And they're gonna invite everyone back in. No?
Mr. Attorney,
What is it? What is it, dude? What is it?
could I ask your name?
No, you can't. Phoenix Wright.
Mr. Wright, I've seen and studied many people, but none like you. I'll remember you, Mr. Wright.
Dude, that's no consolation to the like to me like when I was saying the forgeries aren't that like I'm like stealing someone's art is always bad. I want to make that clear, right? But when I said it wasn't bad, I said it wasn't bad compared to like other crimes. I do think that forging evidence for a murder trial is immoral. Is 110% immoral. Oh, it's Zach back.
I do regret having to declare a verdict in this way. This trial is over. You have the right to find a new attorney and make an appeal. However, this court must...
I am in pain, man. The idea that Phoenix is told, his client is told he has to get a new attorney to make an appeal? That feels horrible. I feel disgusting.
Yes, Mr. Zack. There is one thing I wish to make clear. Today, in this courtroom, you cannot declare me guilty.
What?
It is impossible.
He did say this.
I'm afraid the defendant is quite mistaken. I must certainly have the authority to declare a verdict on you. Except, tell me, how do you plan on announcing your verdict when your defendant does not exist?
Doesn't exist?
What are you talking about? I'm talking about this.
Oh, is this how he disappeared? He literally disappeared? Mr. Eddingmar!
The defense escaped. Find him. Quick. Bailiff, close all exits from the building.
I think he's gone, dude. I think he's gone, and he will be gone for 7 years.
On the double, Judge. He must not be allowed to escape.
Quote, that day in the courtroom, a miracle occurred. The defendant Shadi Enigmar, aka Zach Grammer, did not just escape from the court. He literally unbelievably vanished. Right before the bailiff's eyes. No one ever saw him again, not since that day. This is the Grammarly miracle. This is not good for us, though. This is like so heartbreaking for Phoenix. No verdict was declared. After all, the defendant didn't exist. What? This is... That's how it happened. The trial of Magic Zach Grammarly vanished along with him for all eternity. I love what they're showing this empty court. The mysteries that remain behind were all solved, however. But not until 7 years later. So we're solving it now? No! That is so sad what happened to Phoenix. I know that like it's like you can't do what he did. You can't. But still it's one of those things where it's like I don't... It feels terrible still. It feels absolutely terrible. Like, that's our boy. And, like, he fell for something like that. You know what I mean? And, like, I think as well, like, we constantly... you have to call it out. I call out prosecutors when they bring in flimsy evidence all the time. We didn't only bring in flimsy evidence. We brought in something that was so convenient. So, like, it's so convenient. We would have won if we didn't let him call that witness. We would have won. We would have won, but it would have been a real win. Thank you guys so much for watching the series and supporting this series. Thank you so much to the Can Never Pay the Baby Gangsters here on Patreon. Typhara 2, Jamie Bull, Jonathan Banana, Normal Kara, The Ghost of Nazuma, Felicious Felix, George Candelari, Eskun, Yuld, Radish, Fruity, Orange Bang, Summer Oasis, Death Trap, Anusa, Malcolm Cumday, and Ciabatta Bread. If you want to support on Patreon, you can go in the description below. Just at $1, it's this, you can suggest games all the time, and I also chat in the chat with everyone. Yeah. Whew. I will see you all very, very soon. Bye-bye.